Necessary votes in the Senate, so all signs now pointing to an executive order to get this done. New Hampshire Republican Senator Judd Gregg, ranking member of the Senate Budget Committee, my guest from the Hill. Senator, good morning to you. How high are we going to go here?
Well, not very well, I'm afraid. You know, you can't do this with an executive order for a variety of reasons. First, it's a partisan event, an executive order, and this commission has to be bipartisan. To be bipartisan, you have to have a vote and have Republicans supporting it as well as Democrats. Secondly, executive order doesn't bind the Congress, and the purpose, of course, is to make sure that the Commission's report on the proposal that I put forward with Senator Conrad comes to a vote, an up or down vote, on the proposal of the Commission without amendments after it has been reported by the Commission by supermajorities, so that it is bipartisan and fair. And that can't be accomplished by executive order. I mean, there can be protestations that there'll be a vote by Senator Reid or Speaker Pelosi, but in Senator Reid's case, he can't control the Senate because, as we all know, the Senate's made up of 100 individuals, and we all have very significant rights around here, and if we want to hold votes up or force other votes, basically you can do that under the rules of the Senate. So, as a very practical matter, unless you have a statutory structure, you cannot accomplish the goal, which is to put in place a group of folks who are committed to trying to do something about the out-year fiscal insolvency of this country and then get their proposals voted on.
Well, are you,
and so I see that, to be very honest with you, Bill, let me just... I'm sorry to
finish your point.
But to be very honest with you, I see this as a fairly cynical act on the part of the White House. Because basically... Cynical, because what they're doing is essentially undermining the capacity to do this the right way, which is by statute. Rather than coming out and saying they support the Conrad Gregg statutory approach, they're proposing this executive order which gives them political cover and gives their Democratic members political cover so that they can vote against the statutory approach, which is the only way you can really do this.
Are you predicting that moderate Democrats are going to bolt on this idea?
Yes.
Are you aware of what Evan Bayh said last night? You lose Massachusetts, and that's not a wake-up call, then you can't wake up. That's the moderate senator from Indiana.
Yeah, well, Evan is a very hard over on this issue. He's really been very aggressive in taking the position that there needs to be a statutory commission, and he has even voted against the debt ceiling the last time around, I believe. So Evan's clearly going to stay with the issue. But as a very practical matter, the reason the White House is doing this, the reason they're setting up this executive order is to give people political cover, especially in the House, I suspect, if not in the Senate.
Okay, on health care now. Harry Reid apparently was on the floor of the Senate moments ago. He's saying Democrats will press ahead on the agenda for health care reform. How do you react to that?
Well, he doesn't live in Massachusetts. You know, I mean, I think the message was pretty clear that the American people would like us to step back and take another look at this effort. You know, sure, there needs to be health reform, but I think what the American people are saying is that you cannot explode the size of the government the way it's being exploded under this health care bill and some of the other things that have been passed here recently, and pass all this spending onto our kids and pass this huge government onto our kids and all this debt onto our kids, and not expect that we're not going to end up undermining the quality of life of our children. We're going to end up passing less opportunity onto them than we receive from our parents. That's not an acceptable approach. Americans, it's pure common sense to the American people that you just simply can't continue to run up these huge government programs and expect us to be a fiscally responsible country and have our kids have a better life. Yeah. And so the message is pretty strong, and it's been delivered with unequivocally in one of the most liberal states in the country by the voters of Massachusetts. And I would hope that the leadership of the Senate and the Democratic leadership of the House, Speaker Pelosi, would understand that this is not San Francisco, that the American people really do want to see us address health care, but they want it done in a responsible way and an affordable way, in a way that allows them to continue to have the type of insurance and health care coverage which many Americans are quite comfortable with, and they don't want it taken away from them.
We'll let you get back to work. Judd Gregg, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
From Capitol Hill. Martha.
All right, next.